In the previous chapter, we explored how standards, registries, and independent verification help build trust in carbon markets. These systems are designed to ensure that carbon credits represent real and measurable climate benefits. Even with layers of safeguards, carbon markets still draw criticism for loopholes, uneven standards, and doubts about whether the promised impact truly adds up. Some projects have been questioned for their methods, questioned for their impact, and questioned for whether the benefits they claim are truly real. Some companies have been accused of making misleading environmental claims. And terms like low-quality carbon credits and greenwashing have become increasingly common. So, if standards and verification already exist, why do these concerns still arise? In this video, we'll explore what carbon credit integrity really means, what greenwashing is, and why maintaining trust remains one of the biggest challenges facing carbon markets today. In a world full of promises and claims, one thing decides what's real: integrity. So, why does it matter? To help you understand this, imagine buying a medicine that hasn't been properly tested. Or investing in a company whose financial statements were never audited. The same principle applies to carbon markets. When a company purchases a carbon credit, it expects that the claimed emissions reduction genuinely occurred and wasn't just written on paper. If people begin to doubt the quality of carbon credits, confidence in the entire market can be affected. That is why integrity matters, because without integrity, every promise, every credit, every claim risks collapsing into doubt. Integrity is the line between trust and doubt, between real progress and empty claim. In simple terms, carbon credit integrity means that a carbon credit genuinely represents 1 ton of carbon dioxide equivalent that has been reduced, avoided, or removed. We hear a lot about integrity, but have you ever wondered what causes it to diminish? Let's take a look at some of the key factors that weaken it. Number 1 on the list: additionality. One important question is, would this project have happened anyway? If the answer is yes, then issuing carbon credits may not represent an additional climate benefit. Number 2 on the list is permanence. For example, a forest that stores carbon today could be damaged by wildfire, pests, or illegal logging in the future. If the carbon that's been stored is later released back into the atmosphere, through fire, decay, or deforestation, the climate benefit doesn't last. What was once a long-term gain becomes temporary, reducing the permanence that true impact depends on. The third important factor diminishing integrity is leakage. Sometimes, cutting emissions in one place doesn't solve the whole problem. Because when activities shift elsewhere, production, transport, or land use, emissions can rise again. It's called leakage, and it means the overall climate benefit may not truly exist. Imagine protecting one forest, celebrating its safety, while logging quietly shifts to another nearby forest. The trees fall, emissions rise, and the gain you thought you made begins to slip away. That's leakage, when progress in one place causes loss in another. And that is how the overall climate benefit gets smaller. And the last factor causing reduction in integrity is measurement challenges. Estimating how much carbon has truly been reduced is a complicated matter. Different assumptions, varying data quality, and diverse monitoring methods can all shape how a project's results are seen. Each choice, from how data is collected to how it's verified, can influence the final outcome and the credibility of the climate impact. That's why continuous monitoring, tracking data over time, and independent verification by trusted auditors remain so important. Together, they ensure that every claimed reduction is real, measurable, and credible. Now it's time to understand the bigger controversy. Beyond the promises and glossy ads lies a practice called greenwashing, one of the most frequently used terms in climate discussions. Greenwashing occurs when a company or organization creates the impression of being environmentally responsible without making meaningful progress toward reducing its actual environmental impact. For example, a company might proudly call itself carbon neutral because it purchased carbon credits. But being carbon neutral isn't just about buying offsets, it's about proving that emissions were truly balanced, that reductions are real, and that the claim stands up to scrutiny. Without that, carbon neutral risks becoming just another label. But if it has done very little to reduce emissions within its own operations, that claim may attract criticism. Carbon credits are generally intended to complement emissions reductions, not replace them entirely. Many climate experts agree that organizations should first reduce their own emissions as much as possible before using high-quality carbon credits to address the emissions that remain difficult to eliminate. We have seen how greenwashing creates illusions of sustainability. But what about carbon credits, the tool often used to claim carbon neutral status? Does this mean carbon credits don't work? Not necessarily. When designed and verified properly, they can drive real climate action. The challenge is making sure they're not just another marketing shortcut, but a credible path to genuine reductions. It's important to distinguish between problems in some projects and the concept of carbon markets as a whole. Every market faces challenges. Financial markets aren't immune to deception. Fraud can distort trust, manipulate value, and shake the foundation of global trade. Food industries operate under strict quality standards, ensuring safety, consistency, and trust from farm to fork. Pharmaceuticals demand strict regulation and continuous monitoring to ensure safety, transparency, and trust in every dose delivered. Carbon markets are no different. Over the years, the industry has continued to strengthen standards, improve methodologies, adopt satellite monitoring, use digital measurement technologies, and introduce more rigorous verification procedures. The goal is simple: to improve transparency, strengthen integrity, and increase confidence in carbon markets. So, where does that leave us? Carbon credits are neither a perfect solution nor a meaningless concept. Their value depends on the quality of the projects, the strength of the standards, the independence of verification, and how responsibly they are used. As carbon markets continue to evolve, maintaining integrity will remain essential for ensuring that carbon credits contribute to genuine climate action. Understanding both the opportunities and the challenges allows us to have a more balanced and informed perspective on the role carbon markets can play in addressing climate change. So, if carbon credits aren't a perfect solution, but they can still play a meaningful role in climate action, how should they actually be used? Now that we understand the importance of integrity and the risks of greenwashing, another important question arises. How are carbon credits actually being used by companies around the world? Why do organizations purchase carbon credits as part of their climate strategy? How do they fit into corporate sustainability and net zero strategies? And what role do carbon credits play in achieving global climate goals? In the next chapter, we'll explore how companies use carbon credits and examine how organizations are integrating carbon markets into their broader climate commitments. What do you think? Can carbon credits become a meaningful part of climate action, or do their risks outweigh their benefits? I'd love to hear your perspective in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for the next chapter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.